Use the protractor image to find the measure of angle y, z, w. So y, z, w. That means, remember this is an angle symbol, y to z to w. So just trace from y to z to w. So that means I am talking about this whole angle from there to there. So before you even start, let's use some common sense. Now we know that there are right, acute, and obtuse angles. Now a right angle looks like this, right? And that is 90 degrees, right? So does this look like it's open more than 90 degrees? Because this is 90, so it is open more. So I know that it's going to be more than 90, right? And we also know all the way flat is 180. So that means it's going to be less than 180 because it is definitely not open all the way flat. So when we get our answer, let's make sure that whatever you get makes sense. It has to be less than 180. So it's going to be in between here and here. Okay, so now remember when you have the protractor, you can choose to use outside numbers or inside numbers when they have it on a screen like this. Now, if you have a protractor in your hand and you're measuring, then obviously you're going to spin it around and do different things. But when you have a picture of it, you have to decide, am I going to pick the inside numbers? That means only pick these orange guys that I'm underlining, or outside numbers, only these green ones out here. So you have to pick, am I going to pick the orange ones or the green ones? And it does not matter, but you have to pick one and stick with it. So let's go. Let's pick the green ones. Let's pretend like I'm going to pick outside numbers. So if I look at the outside numbers, I'm going to go from here. Now this is a 70 and this is a 60 right around it. So where is this at? If it's between 70 and 60, that's going to be a 65 in a green number, right? 65 in between 60 and 70. Come down here. Stay with the green numbers. What's that at? It's going to be right here. What number is that? Even if it's covering it up. This is 160, 170. This is a 180, right? So my green numbers are 180 and 65. Okay? In the rule, we want to find how far it is from 65 to 180. So that means we are going to subtract them. So let's go ahead and subtract them. So 180 minus 65. What do we get? 180 minus 65. I get 115 degrees. Okay, is that less than 180 and more than 90? Yes, it makes sense. Now, if you accidentally added these, watch me add this. 180 plus 65. I would get 245. What? We already said it has to be less than 180. It is clearly not open past full and going around this way. That doesn't even make sense. So think what you're doing here. Okay, now what if instead I said, you know what? I want to pick inside numbers. That's fine. That's cool. Inside numbers instead. So that is these orange guys from here to here, right? So I'm going to use the orange inner numbers. So what's this here? So even if it's covered up, this is a 20 and a 10. This is a 0. So this would be a 0, right? On the other side, inside numbers, that's going to be between 110 and 120. What's between 100 and, oopsie, what's between 110 and 120? 115. So this, my other number is going to be 115. So I'm going to find the difference in between those. So I'm going to be subtracting them. Now, it doesn't matter. I'm doing even if I put it in my calculator like I'm looking at it, 0 minus 115, I get negative 115. But that makes no sense to have a negative measure. It's like saying you're negative 3 feet tall. That's dumb. So this is going to actually still be a positive value. So it's 115. Technically, you should take the bigger number, 115, and subtract the 0 from it to get 115 degrees. So either way, you get these answers. But the trick is to either stick with all outside numbers or all inside. Outside or inside. Don't mix them up, okay? And make sure you look at the numbers around it, because this is a 16 to 70, so make sure you don't say accidentally like 75, because you're thinking backwards. So think about what's in between them.